So this is our week 4, and we're going to discuss a set of topics today which include memory access, um, T-pointers, pointer types, um, more conversations about functions, and making calls to have pointers as parameters, and general discussion why we would need something like that, and other aspects related to computer memory. So this is pretty low-level stuff. We're going to run through some examples, and if we have time, we will take a look at the next quiz, what it looks like and what the challenges are, so I can give you some tips in terms of what I think, in terms of how to approach it, how to prepare for it, and what's included in that quiz. Okay, so let's get started with I think I'm not going to follow exactly the handout that I have for our conversation today. Primarily, I just want to remind you of what we have discussed last week, or just started about. So many times we said that there's computer memory. Our view as programmers of computer memory is like a long array of memory cells. But today I'd like to essentially, and we said, okay, it can be elements. Our program is loaded into memory. Have this, long array of. Okay, so then we had this conversation such as hello. In our computer programs, what happens is that it's the string of characters, individual characters, H, E, L, L, and O, and also terminating 0 character, are individually stored somewhere in computer memory. More specifically, those are stored in global memory segment where the global variables exist. And this memory is also made constant, right? So it's impossible to modify these characters. So then we said that what happens is that this expression, for instance, if I wanted to use include IOStream, if I was using C++ output library, saying integer main, and in my in my main function, if I said something like std cout, correction, std : cout, and then if I wanted to display a string named hello, what this device, standard character output device, gets is actually the address of the first character. Because what happens is that expressions such as hello, what it returns back is basically the address of this first character in memory. And so cout finds, locates hello by accessing this first character in memory and then saying, okay, if I'm giving an address of a character, I'm going to display it. But then it doesn't stop because it's programmed to say, well, if you gave me address of character, most likely this is the address of not just one character, but the entire string of characters. So it's actually going to jump to the next character and display that, and to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And then it's going to find 0. And 0 is like a stop sign for cout. It's just going to say, okay, now I'm going to stop. I have displayed your characters, and we can move on with, continuation of this program. So let's, since we're going to run some of these demonstrations today for sure, last week I've installed code blocks. If you are here in class, you've seen me already multiple times starting Visual Studio 2013. But I will actually go back to code blocks because I think this is what you can have at home, and just go ahead and install that. So I'm just going to probably resize it a little bit. As you can see, I already played a little bit with my arrangement of code blocks environment. So I actually routinely close all of these windows and keep the starting page, you know, blank if for the most part. So my first step is going to say File and say New, and I will create a new project. Right. So as before, I will choose in a list of project categories or templates. I will choose an empty project and say Go, and then say Next, and then it wants me to select the name of my project. So I think we have week 4 demo today, series of demos for our week 4. But also notice that location of my project is something that I've specified before and not some sort of default location which I have no clue why is it going to some place on disk. Basically, I would advise that you keep track of your projects and know exactly where they're located. In fact, I can press Control C over here, go to my file manager on the system, and go to the address bar and just paste this location so I can see what's going on, and I can access all the files that I want to be creating part of this work, essentially seeing it in outside of the project. So I'm just going to say Next. And if you're using Visual Studio 2013 in classes, the same thing. You go there, make sure you select C++ type of the project, and click on Empty Project to create it. So then it allows me to choose compilers. I have some compilers installed here, as you can see. So it just allows me to pick the one that I want to choose, and I will use open source GCC compiler, which is the one that you can install at home for free and use it. All right, so my environment is empty. In order for me to manage my project, I need to say View, and there is this Manager window or panel which will open. If you're using Visual Studio, you should say View, and then the first choice, or pretty close to the top of your menu under View, will be Solution Explorer. I can show that to you later. If you need any help, let me know. I can help you out. So then, this is the project name in code blocks. Again, if you're using your laptop, you may have code blocks. I'm just showing it because I'm trying to record this for you again to see at home, because if you're working on some examples, you may use it there. So you can select the project name and say Add Files, right? We definitely need to add some files. And actually, I'm not sure if I want to use this option. Let me just go File and say New New File. How about that? New File. Right. So make sure you select your project and then say File, New File, because we'll be creating brand new file. And now we'll choose a C++, C or C++ source file. Click Go. In your Visual Studio, when you open Solution Explorer, you should see at the bottom of the list, you should see source files, and you can right-click there and say New Item and add brand new C++ file. So here I'm going to click Next, select C++ because I favor C++ output libraries when I experiment with things, and it wants me to choose the path. I will make my selection. It already points me to the location of my project, and here I normally create new subfolder named source, src, source files, go into that folder, and now it's asking me to type the entire name. I'm going to say main.cpp, which will be the name of the file, a source file that contains the main function, and click Save and Finish. All right, so this way I can quickly test this, right? I can say include IOStream, okay, for my testing, and then go to, let me just resize this so that you can see it a little better. And then just like I did in my demo, main, right? So we can type, we can then type std cout hello, just to make sure that we test what's going on and make sure that we test our environment, that everything's working properly. So now you know that this string literal actually returns the address of this first character, which is picked up by this output device, and the string will be displayed, hopefully, right? According to the standard, we can say return return 0, which signals everything's okay, and try testing this program. So to test everything, first I'm going to click Build, and that's the same in Visual Studio when you say Build. Okay, so for me, in order to see what's going on with the build, apparently, I need to again go to View and display something that's called logs. Part of the logs is like a lots of tabs on that window. You can see that, oh, actually, I ran into a problem that for some reason it says linking stage skipped because I have no object files and I never saw anything compiled. Let me see what's going on with this. Typically, when I see something like this in those environments, I normally just say remove file from project, and then just go add file. Just go back to the project name and say add files, and go to my source and try to add it again. And this time it says, would you like to include? Yes, okay. This time if I say build, it actually builds. I've run into this problem before. Perhaps I'm not using all the menus correctly, but I really don't care because you don't really add these files very often to your projects. Hopefully, if you can do it once, it's going to continue to work the same way again. So anyway, I don't know why I ran into this problem again, but I excluded it from project, removed it from project, and then brought it back in and kept it under source. All right, so here's my file. If I double click, it opens. If I just click this run button, which starts the program without debugging, you can see that it prints hello and then a message that everything terminated properly because it's just a console output. But I will switch to properties and will allow quick edit mode, number one. Will also allow some larger fonts that you can easier see what I do and modify the colors of my console so that it's also a little more pleasant to look at. So here's my hello, right? So there it goes. Okay,